The Man Who Shot Hitler, and Then the Bigfoot, is no doubt a movie with a name more memorable than the film itself. It pretty much summarizes the plot right there. But the true theme of the film is aging and how one man copes with getting old. Honestly, the title should have been The Amazing Adventures of Calvin Barr. That would have been more accurate, but admittingly, not as catchy. The film takes place over two timelines, the Hitler timeline and the Bigfoot timeline. The Hitler timeline is all told in flashbacks. Calvin is a young man in his mid-20s, and the Bigfoot timeline is present day. Calvin seems to be in his 70s. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to edit all of the Hitler sections together and then the Bigfoot sections. The film does a good job with flashbacks, but nothing is really revealed that isn't obvious in the end, and it's just easier to not jump back and forth. Young Calvin is played by Aidan Turner, and he does a great job. He really fits in with the 40s era. Here, we see him the night before he's going to be deployed with his girlfriend Maxine. They're out on a walk talking about the day when Calvin gets on one knee and tries to propose.
Listen, I'm right behind you.
But Maxine rejects him.
Catch up quick.
So many things come naturally to you. Can you paint?
Do you think I can paint?
Calvin has been away from home for a very long time, and he needs to clean up and shave before seeing Hitler. So he goes to a very superstitious man who does just that.
We need to get rid of that beard you're wearing.
I've had a long journey to get here.
May I give you this shave?
You may.
This shave cannot be perfect, only God is perfect. If it's perfect and I don't cut you, then you'll fail and you'll die. But if I make a mistake and I draw blood, then you will succeed and you'll live. But I cannot try to make a mistake to influence or sway the final outcome, or we both will be cursed. I must try to be honest in each stroke.
I like this scene. I think about it every time I have to shave. It's a naturally nervous scene because he has a sharp knife to Calvin's neck, no less, and you don't really know if he can be trusted.
If I look aside for a moment, or if the razor catches your skin in some innocent way, then the blood is a good omen. The blood is life. My hands were steady today. And the omen is that you'll fail. And you'll die.
In the end, he nicks Calvin on purpose, because he knows the importance of the mission. And even if both men are cursed, he must succeed. Next, we see our hero traveling by boat, car, and train. We find out later this is because he's good at tracking, and he needs to track the Germans because they're always on the move. He wants to make sure that the man he kills is the real Hitler. Finally, he decides it's time to attack. Fully dressed as an SS soldier, complete with a useless watch. Seriously, how do you even know the time with this thing? I do like the little details, however, like how he signs his initials with USA. When he is past the guards, Calvin makes a gun with various parts of his uniform and uses it to kill Hitler with 2 shots. Back from the war, Calvin reads the letters that Maxine wrote him.
My dear Calvin, I've written you so many times that I can't keep count anymore. I can almost hear what you'd say back. Sometimes I think of a joke you would say, and I laugh. Then I feel foolish. It's been a long time since I've heard from you. They say that you're alive, but that I can't talk to you. That you can't write me, even if you wanted to. I walked by your house today, just to be somewhere that we once were. I've gone sappy, Calvin. Me. I watched the mailman put one of my letters through your door. They stopped forwarding them long ago, I guess. There's a school back home that could use my help. Closer to Mom and Dad. Mom's been sick lately, so I'm leaving here.
In the end, she decided to move back to her parents' town and work there. Depressed that the love of his life moved on, Calvin puts all the letters in an old hat box and throws them out. Now, in present day, Calvin, played by Sam Elliott, spends his time in a bar.
Wallet. Keys. Wallet. Now. Give me that. Oh, is this what you wanted? She's pretty. Move.
I can't just let you. I need my car.
Get out of here, old man. You can't.
Some thugs try to beat him up, but Calvin makes quick work of them. I get that they're trying to make Calvin look like a badass, but in reality, those guys would have taken him out in about 20 seconds.
For Pete's sake.
While out walking his dog, Calvin finds a winning lottery ticket. He tries to return it to its rightful owner, much to the surprise of the store clerk.
Did you buy it here?
No, I found it. Appears to be a winner. $100.
Okay. You want your winnings then?
No, that's not mine.
So what do you want to do with it?
Get it back to its rightful owner or what have you.
Whoever bought it just didn't look it over good enough and probably threw it out when they thought it was a loser.
That happens?
That happens.
Often?
It happens.
Pretty foolish. I think I'll just leave it here.
You don't want the winnings?
I got nothing to do with it. Keep it handy for a couple of days when no one shows to collect the winnings. You keep it.
Calvin then buys a dog treat with an old dollar bill that he says should have been destroyed to make way for new crisp dollars. An obvious reference to how old Calvin is getting, and maybe even to how old soldiers are replaced in times of war.
Wonder how that one never got caught. Be burned or what have you.
It was burning money.
The government. They destroy the old ones every so often so that new, crisp legal tenders can be printed up and put out into circulation. Hi there, Ed.
Did you get a haircut somewhere else?
Yeah.
We meet Calvin's brother, Ed, played by Larry Miller. Ed is a barber who Calvin confides in when he needs someone to talk to.
It's been a while. So how have you been? You look a little tired.
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm just
Don't jerk your head like that. Otherwise I might take part of your ear off.
Yes.
May we come in, Mr. Barr? We'd like to talk.
Concerning?
May we come in?
Later that night, 2 government agents show up at Calvin's door. One of the agents' grandfather knew Calvin in the war and would tell old war stories about him.
My grandfather knew you, Barr. He was pretty high up in Army brass. He used to sit me up on his knee some nights and tell me stories. Some I believed, others I don't know. As he got older, the stories got stranger. Family said he got a little senile in his old age. I'm not so sure.
No, Monsieur Barr. The Bigfoot.
The men explain how there is an infection spreading in Canada, and Calvin is immune to it. They need Calvin's tracking ability to hunt down whatever is spreading it and kill it. Naturally, the source of the infection is Bigfoot.
The creature, it is sick.
My grandfather, he said that someone killed.
Yes, I did.
Eventually, Calvin admits that he did kill Hitler, but in the end, Hitler was just a man, and it was his influence, his ideas, that continued after his death, making what Calvin did pointless.
And I moved when they moved. Until the time was right. Until I knew where he was. Until I knew it was him. And I caught up with him.
You're serious?
The Germans covered it up. And so did we. And history marched on just like you read about. By the time I got to that miserable man, his words had grown beyond him. And his ideas continued to do all the damage they could possibly do without him. It's the Bigfoot, Ed.
That night, Calvin can't sleep, so he calls his brother and they meet in a park. He explains to Ed about the situation, and he just says,
Well, that's no good.
Ed believing every word his brother says because he knows what kind of man he is. And in the end, Calvin decides that he's in.
Be careful, Calvin. I still want to go fishing.
I think you'll look after the dog.
Before entering the dead zone, Calvin gets his choice of weapons. He only chooses a few things, but the camera shots remind me of a Quentin Tarantino film.
That's it.
The dead zone is surrounded by a ring of fire. We get this really great shot of Calvin's silhouette against the fire, and then BAM! Bigfoot is shot. It's definitely a blink and you'll miss it kind of scene. Calvin chases after the creature, but Bigfoot gets the best of him, and in the end, Calvin takes a hard fall. breaking his pinky finger. Calvin is tracking the Bigfoot, and he seems to be leading him to a large mountain in the distance. Calvin has to climb this mountain. Remember, this is a 70-year-old man rock climbing without any equipment. Once on top of the mountain, we see a dying Bigfoot. Here, we get a real good look at the creature. Honestly, it looks pretty dumb. This has got to be the skinniest Bigfoot that I've ever seen. It looks more like zombie Bigfoot than anything else. Maybe it's supposed to be the disease, but to me it looks like they just glued some hair on the first guy they saw and told him to play Bigfoot. Thinking Bigfoot is dead, Calvin cremates him, but Bigfoot still has some life in him. Bigfoot slaps the crap out of Calvin, but he fights back. It's not looking good, but he stabs Bigfoot right in the side, causing him to projectile vomit all over Calvin's face. It's gross. It's so gross, I'm not even going to show it. In the end, Calvin wins, but Bigfoot was able to injure Calvin, even if just a little.
This isn't what I wanted. I'm sorry.
Back on top of the mountain, Calvin has to euthanize Bigfoot. It genuinely seems like he hates that he has to do this, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Assuming Calvin is dead, Ed is speaking at his funeral.
I didn't get to know Calvin the way a brother should, but I'll miss him. I always missed him.
Later, he is out fishing, and he sees his brother, who he really thought was dead. They share a well-earned, peaceful moment together on the lake.
Can I come out there with you? Huh.
There seems to be a lot of symbolism in this film. There's a wooden box that Calvin just can't bring himself to open, but its contents obviously mean a lot to him. So much so that he digs it out of his own grave. But we never do get to see what's inside.
Another day, boy. Maybe tomorrow. What do you think?
There's also this pebble that's in his shoe throughout the entire film. This pebble symbolizes the comparison between Hitler and the Bigfoot. I'm quoting from IMDb here. Nothing was gained from killing Hitler, as the Nazi disease continued to spread. But in killing Bigfoot, he halted the spread of the disease, saving millions. The pebble can only come out once Bigfoot was killed.
There it is.
So, in conclusion, Is The Man Who Shot Hitler and Then the Bigfoot a good movie? I'd say it's worth a watch, but definitely not a masterpiece. It is different, and I commend them for that. Not too many movies with Bigfoot in them take themselves this seriously. The actors do a great job. I especially like young Calvin and Maxine. Their love story is tragic and heart-wrenching. The music and the set design of the film are spot on, but pacing is a little slow, and I find it hard to believe that Sam Elliott, as great as he is, could really go around beating up thugs or climbing mountains at that age. All in all, I give it 3 out of 4 useless Nazi watches.
He doesn't have big feet either.